there's this reporter over on PBS, guys, a reporter on PBS, which means you're helping to pay her salary. Julia Galliano, I had never heard of her before, but she's out there saying, oh my gosh, well, Mexico can't take them back. How could Mexico do it? Do you know how difficult this would be to welcome all these people back into the country? I'm thinking, like, what do you think we've been doing? We've had this difficulty. Why is it on us? It shouldn't be. So here she is talking about Claudia Sheinbaum, who's the new president, super liberal, by the way, of Mexico, who's most likely going to find herself entangled with Donald Trump. She's trying to say she's going to welcome these migrants back, these criminal migrants back, because, well, she has to. Or else 25% tariff on you, lady.
Mexico cannot cope, not sure any country can, but Mexico can't cope with like a sudden influx of millions of people. I mean, as much as she wants to embrace them, to use her word, when they come back and make them feel welcome, it all sounds very nice when you're listening to it, but the reality of that is just completely unsustainable. A lot of these people have lived in the U.S. for decades. They have lives there. They have families. They're good standing citizens. So they're not in a position to just be deported and say like, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to come back here and take a job making a fraction of what I used to make and go to my town where I don't have anything left, which is maybe it's been overrun by violence. I mean, it's unrealistic to think that wouldn't lead to a crisis.
Okay, yeah, really unrealistic to think that it would not lead to a crisis. But hey, guess what? Guess what? We're the ones stuck with the crisis. And that's what's so messed up. Somehow it is our responsibility to deal with everyone else. I don't think so, okay? I really don't think so. And it's Mexico's problem. It's not our problem. Fair point. Ed asking, why is it that all Star Trek actors are Marxists? We're going to talk about Captain America coming up. Good to have you here, Ed. Good to have all you guys here. I mean, I don't get it. Like, why is it our responsibility, in all seriousness, our responsibility to have to manage the rest of the world's problems? Guess what, Mexico? If you weren't so socialist, if you actually put in some policies, if you weren't so corrupt, guess what? You might have a good economy too. You got lots of natural resources down there. You got a ton of people. You can do something. Why is it our responsibility? It shouldn't be. And people used to understand that it wasn't our responsibility, but all of a sudden we're in this brave new world where anything Trump is bad. Therefore, when he says obvious stuff like, hey, we shouldn't have criminals in our country, when ICE reports that there are 650,000 criminals that are here illegally, and somehow he's the bad guy for saying, I don't think that the people signed up for this. I don't think that we don't want it. Okay, we don't want it. And so guess what? Yep. Gitmo's on the table.
I'm also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Most people don't even know about it. We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them, because we don't want them coming back, so we're going to send them out to Guantanamo. This will double our capacity immediately, right? And that's a tough place to get out of. Today's signings bring us one step closer to eradicating the scourge of migrant crime in our communities once and for all. And it was just it's just an unforced error that we even have to be doing this. Now we need Congress to provide full funding for the complete and total restoration of our sovereign borders, as well as financial support to remove record numbers of illegal aliens.
And they are record numbers. I mean, this is unbelievable what has happened under President Biden, under Kamala Harris. Nobody wanted more of this. They voted for this, okay? Again, every single poll shows you the same thing. Americans are actually united on this issue, as well as the issue of inflation, right? They want to clean up the border situation. They want to get the criminals out of the country. You have 650,000 criminals. Some of them, we just read the numbers there from ICE, like really, really bad. Roughly less than 20,000, but somewhere between, I think it was around 17,000. Let me see, I've got the numbers. Here we go. Look at that. No, it was 14,944 individuals that have serious offenses like homicide. Another nearly 21 20,000 individuals with serious offenses, 20,000, I should say, 61 individuals with sexual assault offenses. So I don't think you're going to have enough beds at Guantanamo. I mean, like, you're not even going to have enough beds. And I think that at least, let me just say this, at least somebody is doing something about this. Much needed.